Sorry to make the epic music go away. Welcome, everyone, to the Spring Fling Award ceremony, and congratulations for making it here. Spring Fling is an awesome tournament for a lot of reasons, but easily my favorite reason is because quite often it's when we welcome a lot of new competitors and new folks into the NCFA community. And hopefully you got to experience a little bit of that today, and hopefully uh, maybe you saw some other students do some wonderful things, or you got some positive feedback from judges who are by and large also competitors of the NCFA, just the more experienced ones. And I know that for myself, my first tournament ever left a really big impression on me when I first joined the NCFA in 2014. Um, and so I hope that yours was just as meaningful and just as memorable. But with that said, I am indeed your tournament director, Paul Villa, and this is going to be the Spring Fling Showcase and Award Ceremony. So, for those of you who have never been to an award ceremony and who've never been to Spring Fling, which in theory is just about all of you, since this is primarily a rookie-only tournament, we will be dividing this up into a few parts. After we do some thank yous and just talk about the award ceremony, we're going to go into a showcase where we will be showing you 3 performances from students who competed and were very successful this year, both at the local level, the state level, and the national level as competitors for the NCFA. And then, of course, we will be celebrating your accomplishments, seeing just how good you folks did today at the tournament before we finally move into the season long end of year awards, where we will be celebrating the various students and coaches who demonstrated excellence this year for the community and for their programs. But before we can do that, I, of course, have to move into some thank yous. 4 or 5 main people I want to thank. First off, I would love to thank Andrew Morgan. Andrew Morgan was the co-tournament director. He was the person in the tab room with me all day, but also in every other room so that I could just stay in the tab room. He was bouncing back and forth between help, and I was sending him into rounds. And Andrew was, of course, incredibly supportive and has been helping me all day, but not just all day. He helped me all the time as my fellow coach at DVC, and also has helped me since grad school when we were office mates. And as far as community goes, I very much look forward to spending a long time in the NCFA alongside Andrew. I would, of course, also love to thank Oliver Tripp, who was busy helping you all in the help room, so I did not have to, which made my job a lot easier as a first-time tournament director. And I really appreciate Oliver being there and kind of being the face of the tournament for the better part of the day. I'd also love to thank Kim Yee, who was also in the help room, but also was running the extemp prep room. So any of you extempers can definitely thank Kim for giving you your topics and making sure the round went off on time. Uh, Not quite last but not least, I definitely want to thank Ryan Guy and Tim Heisler for being my guardian angels throughout this whole process, both before the tournament, during the tournament. It's inevitable that something will go wrong like 2 minutes before the first round starts. And in those instances, it's really great to have 2 people who are so experienced and so capable being able to help me and guide me through. And one last thank you, which didn't make it on the slide, but I still wanted to shout out. Brennan Mock this morning filled in during the coaches meeting for the extent prep room. So thank you so much, Brennan, for showing up and making that possible. And of course, thank you to everyone who came out to the Spring Fling, whether that's competitors, the students who offered their time volunteering coaching, and the coaches who just make all of this possible for the students in the first place. It's a very rewarding job, but it's definitely a hard one. And I'm learning that more and more as I move along in my forensics career. But with that said, I would love to get into the showcase and talking about the honorary showcase. Each year at the Spring Fling, we do an honorary showcase. And in doing so, we attempt to celebrate some of the NCFA's finest performances this year. So the 3 speakers and the 3 speeches that you see in just a few minutes represent some of the absolute most successful pieces that we saw this year. Including speeches which won our regional championship in their event, speeches which won the NOF Online Forensics National Championship in this event, and a speech which was also the national champion in poetry at the community college level. And so we have 3 incredibly successful, incredibly kind students, all of whom volunteered their time to judge you this weekend. So hopefully they wrote you some pretty awesome ballots, and you can someday be just as good, as successful, and as welcoming and as great community members as them. But with that said, I would love to get into the first one. And the first one comes from Alexis Rangel from Modesto Junior College. And it is a CA, which, for those of you who don't know, since that wasn't offered today, is a communication analysis, which is a type of public address where you use a model or a theory from communication or other disciplines and apply it to an artifact. And Alexis found tremendous success all year long. I think I personally got to judge this no less than 2 times. And I'm pretty sure I gave her the one in every round. So I was glad to see her go on and continue that success elsewhere. So without any further ado, we will hear and we will watch a CA from Alexis Ring.
Afghanistan. The streets of war-torn Kabul, Afghanistan, have remained largely in disarray for the last 20 years. From the US occupation to the eventual recapture of the city by the Taliban this past fall, images of destruction have served as a potent metaphor for the lives of women in the country. However, since 2014, there has been a voice of dissent, silently transgressing the ruins of the city. From the rubble, the street artist, Shamshia Hassani, has literally provided a colorful blast of defiance to the physical and ideological forces that seek to silence her. In a 2018 interview with the website Street Art Bio, Hassani mentions how her work forces people to see the tragedy behind the lives that women live in Afghanistan, while also showing them as bigger than what they are in reality. Hassani's work is ripe for analysis. Thus the following research question: how does Shamshia Hassani's street art reconceptualize women in the public sphere of Afghanistan? To analyze Hassani's work, we'll begin by first sketching out a rhetorical model, then shaking up some analysis, before finally painting a complicated set of implications. First, the model. Lucia Palmer provides a rhetorical framework in an article published in the 2017 International Journal of Communication. Palmer analyzes street art in Bolivia and argues that art has the power to breach exclusionary public spaces and challenge colonialism. 3 major rhetorical tenets emerge. First, street art is a potent, creative form of recovering space. Second, a means to build counterpublics. And third, methods to challenge structures of oppression. First, street art is a potent, creative form of recovering space. Palmer argues that street art has historically been used as a form of subversive political expression. This is especially true in communities that face economic and social erasure. In Cochabamba, Bolivia, there is a public plaza where women and children are stenciled into life-size portraits. Palmer notes that this forces passers-by to see those who they might otherwise ignore. As city officials painted over these images, they re-emerged within days. The second tenet describes counterpublics. Palmer argues that street art is a form of visual networking. Images do not function in isolation. Instead, street art references other works to connect movements. Palmer points to examples like this one, of Snow White with a rifle. It stylistically borrows from the works of Blake Lerat and Banksy by juxtaposing popular culture with violent imagery. Networks grow when viewers recognize the references or share them via social media. The last tenet describes methods to challenge structures of oppression. Palmer's analysis of the graffiti in Bolivia found that it directly engaged with political and social issues. Palmer highlights this example, which challenged a controversial plan to build a highway through indigenous land. Thus, we can see that street art has the ability to 1. Make visible those who are otherwise invisible in public spaces. 2. Connect global communities over shared injustices. And 3. Use visual advocacy to address current controversies. Now that we've outlined Palmer's rhetorical model, we can use these tenets as a lens to understand Hassani's street art. So, first, does Hassani's street art truly make the invisible visible? I argue yes. Take the woman depicted here. She is shown with shut eyes and no mouth. In an August 2021 article from Deutsche Welle, they quote Hassani as saying, "Her eyes are closed," because usually she has nothing good around herself to see. And sometimes she cannot even see her own future. But it doesn't mean she cannot actually see. According to the United Nations 2020 Human Development Report, Afghanistan ranks amongst the least favorable on the Gender Inequality Index. Hassani makes these constraints on women known in her work. However, she also voices a silent optimism. Notice the character's upward momentum. We see her at the peak of swinging forward, weightless and on the verge of flight. She is surrounded by dandelions, a plant known for their resilience in harsh conditions. Visuals like these ask us to publicly reflect on Afghan women's lived experiences. Second, counterpublics. The New York Times reported on December 15, 2021, that there will be an increasing struggle for women in Afghanistan to navigate a patriarchal society deeply hostile towards equal rights for women. This image was posted to Hassani's Instagram on May 5, 2020. It was painted amidst the rubble of a maternity hospital where Taliban insurgents had killed multiple women and their newborn babies. What would have been written off as collateral damage in a war zone is now etched into collective memory. The last tenet describes methods to challenge structures of oppression. CBS News reported in September 2021 that within hours of taking over, the new Taliban-led government had ordered all women and girls to stay in their homes. With access to the public literally forbidden, Hassani's work challenges these exclusionary mandates. Daily Mail authors Will Stewart and Emma Scully wrote on September 5, 2021, Shamsia Hassani's street art breaks the stereotype of a passive Muslim woman. In fact, her graffiti art is giving Afghan women a voice and is inspiring thousands around the world. Thus, we can return to our research question. How does Shamsia Hassani's street art reconceptualize women in the public sphere of Afghanistan? Hassani depicts women as vibrant, expressive, and central contributors to the public sphere. They are shown in colorful clothing holding musical instruments, a powerful form of expression even without a voice. Additionally, her street art establishes a fresh point of view that forces global communities to consider the domestic and personal implications of foreign policy. Now that we've outlined Palmer's rhetorical model and applied these tenets to Hassani's work, we can discuss two implications. First, the subversion of traditional public discourse, and second, conflicts with personal celebrity. First, in response to our research question, there is no doubt that Hassani's work serves as a powerful, persuasive statement regarding the increasingly limited lives women live in Afghanistan. As the Taliban have regained control, they have limited free expression, particularly of women. Al Jazeera reported in September that the new government has warned women not to protest, threatened journalists not to cover, and has fired upon demonstrators who don't comply. In an August 2021 article from the Human Rights Watch, author Heather Barr argues that the Taliban has a long history of claiming to respect women while implementing policies that seek to remove them from the public. In a time where voicing dissent publicly is increasingly difficult, the subversive element of Hassani's work may be harder to suppress. As mentioned in our model, graffiti has the power to speak loudly when normal means are not available. Second, Hassani's own celebrity impacts the reach of her message. Since the Taliban takeover, Hassani has been in hiding. In September, she posted the Taliban had painted over most of her work. Her future is uncertain, and future public works may result in jail time, lashings, or even execution. Here, we see a conflict with celebrity and counter-publicity. Catherine Squires notes in the May 2006 Journal of Communication that counter-publics have difficulty persisting when rhetorical acts are widely visible to outsiders. In Shreya Shivamani's 2013 article in the Journal of American Anthropology Association, she notes that this happened with Occupy Wall Street. Counterpublics, partnered with a social media presence, are susceptible to infiltration, manipulation, and even co-option by the state. The erasure of Hassani's work limits the reach of her message. However, digital publics are persistent and can help keep the movement alive. So today, we sought to answer the question, how does Shamsia Hassani's street art reconceptualize women in the public sphere of Afghanistan? Through an exploration of a rhetorical model, we applied these tenets to Hassani's work and discussed several implications. The lives of women in Afghanistan are likely to be more and more limited under Taliban rule. Little do we know, we may not be able to see much of the future. However, only time will tell if Hassani's work can open our eyes to a brighter future.
Once again, that was
The
Alexis.
streets of war-torn Kabul, Afghanistan have remained
Thank you, sir. Once again, that was Alexis Rangel from MJC. And that brings us to our second presentation, which is from Brenna Sierson of DVC, Go Vikings. That's my school. Kind of forgot to mention that. And she will be performing a poetry. And Brenna managed to secure a gold medal at the Fire Pike Community College National Championship with this piece, and it meant a lot to her. So I'm glad that we get to share it with you folks.
Deep in the mountainous forest lives a nine-tailed pug spirit called Kumio. The spirit can be summoned into the form of a beautiful woman to avenge the wrong done by men. I don't honestly understand why I've been made the victim of so many lies. To the man who shouted, "I like pork fried rice," at me on the street. You want to eat me out, right? Into something a little cheaper, more digestible, more bite-sized, more cooked. You want me lunch special, thank you. Come again, you want me small, pale, something you can fold and shove in your pocket. He laughs. And I hope he continues to laugh when I bury my blade in his chest, rip open his ribcage, and bites into his bleeding heart. I just read the news. And they say 6 Asian women have been murdered. But they tell us it's not racially motivated. No, he was having a really bad day. They say he had a sex addiction. He was at his wit's end, and I don't understand why the first instinct is for us to humanize the man who grabbed a gun and went to 3 separate Asian massage parlors and shot a bullet into those tempting Asian bodies, their existence alone so foreign, submissive, and mythical. Deep in the mountainous forest lives a 9-tailed pug spirit called Kumio. For thousands of years, they've tried to kill me. But by God, they won't. As a result of society's common dismissal, the experiences of racialized sexual violence against Asian women too often goes ignored. Such was the case on March 16, 2021, when, according to the New York Times, a white gunman entered several massage parlors, killing 6 Asian women. His justification? Not racial bias, but sexual temptation. However, from stereotypes that objectify us, to high rates of intimate partner violence, to a legacy of sexual imperialism, the ongoing objectification and commodification of the Asian female body is what makes this violence possible. And it's time Asian women reclaim our sexual autonomy. With the poetry, Kumiho by Claire Lee, Nine-Tailed Fox by Jamie Chung, 6 Asian Women Have Been Murdered by Anna Akana, Fetish by the Washington University Slam Team, and Pork Fried Rice by Franny Choi. The Kumiho's Revenge, a program. When you tell your mother about the man who harassed you, she'll just nod and explain. This is a woman's burden. Sometimes he's a scrub, hanging out the window of a beige Camry as I walk home from school. Sometimes he offers me a $250 gift card to sleep with him because he's never been with an Asian girl before. Sometimes he just said, I pet your kinky with a knowing smile. You're so pretty for an Asian girl. He is a father, a brother, a stranger, but he is always a shiny to smile, trapped in a nightmare. 1,000 years she lays in wait. 9 white tails folded around her body. Perfumed air awakens, sleeves rustle. Moonlight reveals within a hidden temple a silky whisper of dulcet laughter, leading her prey on. Fur shifts to gown, the bride beckons, ravenous with hunger. You temptress! You be a foxy nature creature, an untamable animal, you! Monster! To the man who shouted at me! You think yourself sushi chef? Proud of how nice and fresh you slice his flesh? How pretty them squid-like trophies floating cold and useless. Watch me kick back to life. Watch me tentacles and teeth. Watch me resurrected, electric. What does it taste like? Tastes like revenge. 6 Asian women have been murdered. And I am so tired of being racially gaslit. I am tired of being hypersexualized, fetishized, exoticized, a sexual other who hides behind a hand when she giggles. 6 Asian women have been murdered. So, perhaps you don't understand what it's like to pick up a paper and read things about yourself that aren't true. Read loathsome things that have nothing to do with you or your life. And I can't understand why I've been made the victim. This is a woman's burden, she says. But then she tells you exactly how to deal with men like this. Smile with hollow eye, position your body so you can run if you have to, recite no until it is a perfect mixture of strength and politeness, then burrow into your clothes and skin and try to stay there, but no matter what you do, it will not work. He will always say in a small voice, he thinks it's sexy. Don't blame me for my love, Kumiho. You came to me under full moonlight. Supernatural, alive for centuries, seducing men before eating them. You don't know what it's like to fall in love and to love someone to death. My heart cannot bear the pain, so I hunted you. Untamable animal. Monster! But I know what you are. And I know what I had to do. He is a death that preys on the life of these people. Now he's a fetishist, he's a sadist, he's a killer with a knife, but they say it's not his fault. He was there all along. He had to. That's why there's blood on the sheets. But I have been made the victim by these dead people. Spent years and years trying to please, and still He has tried to kill me. But by God, he won't! 6 Asian women have been murdered. But thank God they didn't take Scarlett Johansson or Emma Stone. 6 Asian women have been murdered. But really, who could have seen this coming? So please stop asking me where I'm from, where I'm really from. And do you know how many times I've been told, me love you long time, me want sucky sucky, hey soy sauce, how's your sushi taste? And there have been not one, not two, but 3 separate men who've invited me into their homes to show me their sword collections, nay, katana collections, and I am tired of having my reality denied by people who don't look like me. I am tired of being a punchline, so please, call it what it is. A hate crime. So, pour soy sauce over my murdered muscles and watch as the salt awakens, arriving in my synapses. Watch me kick back to life. Watch me, tentacles and teeth. Watch me resurrected, electric. You want me dead. You want me an artifact? You think yourself archaeologist. But watch as I seek my revenge. Bury my blade in his chest, rip open his ribcage, and as he bleeds out, I will ask, do I take up too much space now? And I will bite into his bleeding heart, and I will eat, and I will eat, and I will eat.
All right. And thank you so much to Brenna for submitting that. Oh, it's running again. She wanted to do it too many times. There we go. Awesome. Which brings us to our last performance of the showcase, which is going to be a persuasion or a persuasive speech by Christina Peterson from Modesto Junior College.
In 2011, 22-year-old Army Private Michael Lee Sparling was 10 minutes into a run with his unit when he collapsed from cardiac arrest. Toxicology results identified DMAA in his blood, an ingredient in the popular supplement he'd recently started taking, known as Jacked. But it wasn't just Michael. The same ingredient was found in the toxicology report of a second soldier whose heart stopped during a 2-mile fitness test. She fell into a coma and died just weeks later. These cases became part of a growing concern about the use of DMAA in workout supplements, leading the US to ban the ingredient in 2013. Problem solved, right? Well, not exactly. As we will see, these cases illustrate an ongoing problem with the regulation and marketing of supplements. A January 2020 Boston Globe article puts it this way. Welcome to the Wild West section of your local pharmacy, otherwise known as the dietary supplements aisle. A place so dangerous and so unregulated that it would try the most dedicated libertarian. In these aisles, we find an array of pills, protein powders, and juices that promise us a smaller waist, improved concentration, disease prevention and treatment, rapid muscle growth, and improved sexual performance. According to an October 2021 CRN article, 80% of Americans have reported consuming supplements, an all-time high that is only increasing. It is likely that you and I have purchased these same products in the past. Thus, I'm here to convince you that we must significantly increase regulation on the supplement industry. So today, we will weigh out the problems posed by dietary supplements, label the underlying causes, and finally dispense some necessary solutions. First, let's examine the problems. The dietary supplement market is a massive industry, but is largely unregulated, resulting in harm from both the composition of these products
and the medical misinformation they spread. Let's start by looking at product composition. Many supplements that have been deemed safe, including protein powders, energy bars, and herbal products, have been recently reported as containing more than just sugar and calories. An April 2020 study by Harvard Health has reported finding 130 types of toxins in these products, including heavy metals such as lead, arsenic, cadmium, mercury, BPA, which is used to make plastic, and even pesticides. Some of these toxins were present in significant quantities. For example, one protein powder contained 25 times the allowed limit of BPA. Furthermore, according to the previously cited Boston Globe article, weight loss, energy, and other supplements send tens of thousands of people to the emergency room each year. Some of those have led to liver failure and death. In fact, Dr. Jen Gunter reports in a June 2021 TED Talk that 20% of liver injuries actually come from supplement use. This leads us to the second issue. Medical misinformation has made supplements even more popular. In the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic, when medical care became harder to access, people turned to vitamins and supplements. According to a July 2021 video posted by the American Medical Association, COVID created a prime opportunity for supplements to market themselves as immune-boosting treatments and cures. A 2021 report from the New York Times even details claims that people were better off with a cocktail of drugs and supplements instead of vaccination. It sounds like the Boston Globe was right. The supplement industry is the Wild West. But why? Let's examine the two key causes. First, current laws don't go far enough. Currently, the FDA regulates dietary supplements under a different set of regulations than those covering conventional food and drug products. The Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act of 1994, DSHEA, outlines these in Section 403I. Any ingredient present in a significant quantity must be listed on a label. However, anything that isn't significant doesn't have to be listed. However, I've already mentioned that some substances like BPA far exceed allowed limits and are never put on the label. Things actually get more complicated from here. Remember DMAA? A 2021 FDA fact sheet describes DMAA as an unsafe food additive that can lead to heart attack, seizures, and other neurological and psychological conditions. This is why it was banned in 2013. Well, research published in the March 2021 issue of Clinical Toxicology analyzed 17 supplement brands. They found that many included more than one prohibited substance, including DMAA. The authors emphasize that these stimulants have never been tested in humans and that their safety is unknown. However, the current law doesn't require supplements to be proven safe. In fact, according to the FDA's website, last accessed March 16, 2022, the current law doesn't even require that claims on a label be accurate or truthful. Take Prevagen, a dietary supplement that claims to treat Alzheimer's by improving memory and supporting brain function. Jessica Rich, director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection, says in a June 2020 article that for years, the marketers of Prevagen have preyed on the fears of older consumers experiencing age-related memory loss. Second, powerful political lobbying has prevented newer regulations on dietary supplements. Prior to the DSHEA Act of 1994, the FDA was angling for strong regulations. But lobbyists had other ideas. A 2016 article on The Atlantic explains that this attempt was countered by one of the most intense lobbying campaigns in history, in which TV commercials warned citizens that the government was coming for their vitamins. The continued lack of regulation ushers the use of harmful substances and false promises. Thus, we must push for stricter regulation for supplement manufacturers. To solve this problem, we must fundamentally restructure supplement regulation. Currently, the FDA plays a reactionary role. Only after a product enters the market and causes harm do they step in. We must take preventative steps instead. First and foremost, Congress must overhaul and update the DSHEA Act of 1994. The current law needs to be amended to require the disclosure of all ingredients. This would include eliminating the loophole where companies simply list proprietary blends instead of full ingredient lists. Further, we must require FDA evaluation of a product's claims before they are ever put on the label. Second, the current regulation of conventional pharmaceuticals and food products must be extended to the supplement industry. According to a November 2020 study by the American Medical Association, approximately 75,000 new supplements have been introduced since 1994. Yet the FDA has only received adequate safety data for less than 250 new ingredients. Not only do these supplements need to pass initial FDA muster, they must be subject to reevaluation anytime they change their formula, just like all other pharmaceuticals. This would include establishing a registry with data on all ingredients manufacturers add to their supplements. Finally, we can work collectively to educate ourselves and protect our own health. An April 2020 study by Harvard Health warns that while supplements may be helpful, they are not always necessary. Instead, we should prioritize eating whole foods. We should also increase patient, healthcare practitioner, and retailer awareness to help consumers build label literacy. The AMA also strongly urges physicians to have risk-based conversations with their patients prior to using supplements. At the end of my speech, I'll share a website that I created that details these resources and solutions in more detail. Supplements are sold to help us achieve our health and well-being goals. But once the benefit of those supplements is outweighed by the harms, their value is gone. Through examining the problems, causes, and solutions, we have seen that stories like Michael Lee Sparling's can be prevented. The supplement industry must be subject to stricter regulation and enforcement. In fact, our lives depend on it.
Awesome. Another wonderful performance. Thank you so much, Christina, for submitting that. And with that, folks, we are on to the part that I'm sure a lot of you are very excited for because it's your first award ceremony ever. And that is the Spring Fling 2022 award celebrating you competitors. But before we can celebrate you competitors, there is one award that is not for anyone who competed today, but instead is for someone who judged. Each and every year at the Spring Fling, we award one student who judged at this tournament with the Robert Haas Student Judging Award, which is meant to recognize a student who went above and beyond in terms of trying to make people feel welcome in this community today, but also in terms of individuals who put a ton of feedback, right? Who wrote really useful comments for students that they can use in the future. And your winner this year of the Robert Haas Student Judging Award is Alexis Ringel from MJC. So congratulations to Alexis. I know I was hassling you to get those ballots in sooner, but I'm sure all of these students will be really happy to see all the feedback they got from such a wonderful, talented, and successful competitor. But with that said, it's time to start reading some long lists of awards. I'm going to do it with energy and pizzazz since we're on Zoom and we're not going to be able to have time to clap it up. So hopefully I bring that energy for you. Ryan, I'm ready to go whenever you are. Let's get into the IPDA awards. We have two categories of IPDA awards, Superior and Excellent. I will start with Superior, which is for students who went 2-1 at the tournament. Your first Superior award goes to Kyle Theus from Butte College. Butte Community College, sorry. Your second one goes to Veronica Yokota from Diablo Valley College. Your third one goes to Anthony Valencia from Fresno City. Fourth goes to Stephanie Oliveras from CSU Sacramento. Go Hornets. Fifth goes to Sean Riordan from CSU Sacramento as well. Still go Hornets. Sixth, we've got Presley Shum from San Francisco State University. And I believe finally for the Superior category, we have Faye Harris, also from San Francisco State University. Go Gators. And that will bring us to excellent. That means students who did not lose a single round at this tournament in IPDA debate. Congratulations to those folks. Let's see the first one. From Diablo Valley College, it is Kailani Dumalo. Congratulations. Go Vikings. From Delta College, it is Joshua Turnbull. From Santa Rosa Community College, it is Nehemia Scandera. And I believe that was it, which brings us to our speaker awards. For those of you who are new to this activity, we give out awards for the actual results, but we also give out awards to those who spoke quite effectively and earned the most speaker points at the tournament. Let's get right into our speaker awards. 7th place from San Francisco State University, Presley Shum. 6th place, also from San Francisco State University, Faye Harris. 5th place from Sacramento State University, Sean Riordan. 4th place from Diablo Valley College, Veronica Yokota. 3rd place from Diablo Valley College, Kailani Dumalo. 2nd place from Santa Rosa Junior College, Nehemia Scandera, which will bring us to your top speaker, which is going to be from Delta College in 1st place, tournament champion in speaking, Joshua Turnbull. Congratulations to Joshua. All right, gang, I've talked enough for now, so I am now going to go ahead and hand it off to my tournament co-director, Andrew Morgan, also my soulmate, and he is going to read you the individual event awards. Thank you so much, Andrew.
All right. Thank you so much, Paul. Before we get into IE awards, if we could go to this next slide, please. We have one last person. Oh, I think we need to refresh the PowerPoint. One last person we need to thank, which is, of course, from Diablo Valley College, Paul Villa, for running an excellent tournament, because it really did run on time. And you should see some of the, I don't want to say fires he had to put out, but it makes this slide kind of ironic, because in this slide, Paul is walking away from the Armageddon. But in real life, Paul would actually try to fix it in under 5 minutes. So he would find a way, and he would find a way to keep all the dinosaurs alive, which is why we are dinosaur themed today. So thank you very much, Paul Villa. And next up, I believe our first is Impromptu Awards. Yes. So Impromptu did advance to a final round. So congratulations to all of our Impromptu finalists. First up, finalist from Skyline Community College, Bless Catayona. Finalist from San Joaquin Delta College, Joshua Turnbull. Finalist from CSU Fresno, Cambria Garretts. And finalist from Diablo Valley College, Gabrielle Lee. 3rd place from Butte Community College, Sean Brannon. 2nd place from Butte Community College, Jose Sanchez Martinez. Which makes your tournament champion in Impromptu from San Francisco State University, Mia Taylor. Congratulations to all of our Impromptu speakers. Next up, we have Informative Speaking Awards. First up, finalist from Butte Community College, Jaden McFadden. Finalist from CSU Fresno, Hanya Tavar Arroyo. 3rd place from Contra Costa College, Kaylee Wong. 2nd place from Butte Community College, Andre Peterson. Which makes your tournament champion in Informative Speaking from Butte Community College, Sean Brannon. Congratulations to all of our informative speakers. Next up, we actually combined POI and pros, and so a little bit of a different challenge for these speakers. But first up, we have finalist from San Francisco State University, Jesse Sanchez. 3rd place from Diablo Valley College, Tia Sharma. 2nd place from Modesto Junior College, Grant Wise, which makes your tournament champion in POI or pros from Diablo Valley College, Anula Narasimhan. Congratulations to all of our speakers. Next up, we have after dinner speaking. There were only 2 competitors, which is unfortunate because after dinner speaking is so fun and so funny, but they were actually tied going into the final round. So going into that last round, it was, make or break for them. And in second place from Diablo Valley College, we have Aiden Charm. Which makes your tournament champion in after dinner speaking from Butte Community College, Jose Sanchez Martinez. Congratulations to our after dinner speakers. Next up, we also combined poetry and drama. And so first up in poetry or drama awards is finalist from Butte Community College, Jose Sanchez Martinez. Finalist from Diablo Valley College, Jessica Trollin. Finalist from CSU Fresno, Cambria Garretts. Third place from Las Positas College, Justin Magnano. Second place from San Francisco State University, Mia Taylor. And your tournament champion in poetry or drama is from Diablo Valley College, Sam Epstein. Congratulations to all of our speakers. Next up, we have persuasive. And this did also advance to a final round. So congratulations to all these speakers. First up, finalist from Modesto Junior College, Samantha Ho. Finalist from Diablo Valley College, Kelsey Hill. Third place from Diablo Valley College, Gabrielle Lee. Second place from Modesto Junior College, Willow Stasinski. Which makes your tournament champion in persuasive speaking from San Francisco State University, Julius Stallworth. Congratulations to our persuasive speakers. Next up, we have extemporaneous speaking awards. First up is finalist from Sacramento State University, Estefany Olivares. Finalist from Sacramento State University, Sean Riordan. Finalist from Contra Costa College, Ava Barnell. Third place from CSU Fresno, Hayden Alford. Second place from CSU Fresno, Alamin Alfarah. And your tournament champion, I believe from also CSU Fresno, CSU Fresno is Brandon Rawls. Congratulations to all of our extemporaneous speakers. And CSU Fresno really crushed it. Wow, top 3. All right, which brings us to the end of the year awards, which celebrates the best competitors and coaches the NCFA has to offer. And for this, I'm going to pass it off to Tim Heisler, the NCFA president from Las Positas College.
Well, thank you so much. It is awesome to be here. I am the acting president of NCFA. It is awesome to see new faces and familiar faces coming to this year-end event. I have the pleasure, and it really is to say that, right? The pleasure to be able to identify the Outstanding Forensics Speaker Awards. These are year-long awards, and think of it as such like a cumulative award. So people who have done the best or been the most successful is a better way to put it in particular events over the course of the fall semester and the spring semester have accumulated to the point where they are able to receive the Outstanding Forensics Speakers Awards. And we've got 6 different categories that we're going to give awards to individuals who have been competing throughout the course of the year. And our first category is the public address events. These are the platform speeches, the informative, the persuasive speeches, speech to entertain and communication analysis. And the outstanding forensic speaker for our 2-year community college division is Christina Peterson from Modesto Junior College. Congratulations, Christina. And in the 4-year university division, Danelli Santillan from the University of Pacific are our top public address speakers of the year. Congratulations, you two. Limited prep is our next category, impromptu speaking and extemporaneous speaking. And our year-long winner in the community college division, Brenna Syerson from Diablo Valley College. Not only is she good in poetry, she's good in debate, in prep. And of course, our 4-year Tanaya Smith from UOP, absolutely dominated limited prep all year long. If you were at a tournament, you heard this name being called out. She's that good. Congratulations, Tanaya. Third category is going to be interpretive events. So we're talking prose and poetry, dramatic interp, and programmed oral interp. And our outstanding forensic speaker in the community college division is Lindsay Barrows from Diablo Valley College. Congratulations, Lindsay. And our 4-year university winner, Emma Garber from University of the Pacific. Outstanding, indeed outstanding they are. Which takes us now to the debate awards there. And the first category of debate that we're going to be looking at is NPDA, or parliamentary debate. For those of you who don't know it, it's a limited prep debate, if you will. You're given a topic, you have a teammate, 30 minutes later, you go and do your debate. Our community college winner of the Outstanding Forensic Speaker Award in NPDA is Tristan Keene from Diablo Valley College. And our parliamentary debate winner in the university category is Arshita Sandaparthy from the University of the Pacific. Congratulations to our parliamentary debate winners. Which takes us to NFA-LD Lincoln Douglas debate. These people were given a topic at the beginning of the school year, and they have to use that topic all year long, one-on-one debate. And our top speaker from the community college division, outstanding forensic speaker, Brenna Sierson from Diablo Valley College. Brenna, again, congratulations. What a year. And Lincoln Douglas debate winner in the university category goes to Joel Brown from, familiar with this, University of the Pacific. Congratulations, Joel and Brenna. Which takes us to our last category of debate, which is IPDA. This is a very popular and growing category of debate, so much so that we decided to give it an award to the top speakers this particular year also. And in community college, our top speaker in IPDA debate all year long, Tristan Keene, kicking it. Well done, Tristan. And our university winner in IPDA, Anna Branch from the University of Nevada, Reno. Our top speakers for a collection, accumulation of success all year long, fall 2021 to spring 2022. Congratulations to those individuals. Now, my last set of category, my last little group of awards that I'd like to give are to the coaches. All right, we've got the opportunity to vote amongst one another, our coaches there, to identify individuals within our region who are worthy of special recognition, peer coaches, regular directors of forensics, new coaches, etc. The very first category, as we see it already up on the board here for us, is Tony Bernacchi Distinguished Service Award. And as it's identified, right, this is set up to recognize a coach for substantial service in NCFA over a significant period of time. I once judged this individual back in the early 90s, this year's recipient of this particular award. And when I judged her back then, I knew she was smarter than me. And she proved it time and time and time and time again. The award winner for our Distinguished Service Honors there for NCFA goes this year to Sue Peterson from Cal State University, Chico. Sue, we miss you. We love you. Thank you for all that you've done to our organization. Our second category goes to the New Coach Award. And this recognizes a coach in their first or second year of coaching in the NCFA program. And we are happy to announce that this year's recipient of the New Coach Award goes to Bailey Coleman from Modesto Junior College, helping Modesto do as incredibly well as they've done over the course of the year. Well done, thank you, and congratulations, Bailey. Our next category goes to a peer coach, somebody on a team who takes on a coaching role for their individuals, for their team, recognizing student work in assisting with a program, right? And this year's winner is Richa Prabhakar from Diablo Valley College. Congratulations, Richa. We're so happy that you were able to do so well and help DVC do as well as they did this year. Congratulations on that. Which takes us to our last category of awards for our coaches this year, and that is the Coach of the Year. And we've got the description on the board. Recognizes a coach in reviving an existing program, creating a new program, or demonstrating excellence in forensics in their leadership and education. And I am super happy and thrilled to announce that this year's Coach of the Year for NCFA goes to Paul Villa from Diablo Valley College. Totally deserving. All of these awards are totally deserving to the people who have been able to latch onto them. So congratulations for all that you've accomplished there, and we're happy to recognize for that. With that being said, I want to one more time just throw a hearty handout and congratulations and thank you to both Andrew and Paul. And we're just going to close things on out by turning things back over to Paul one more time for some closing thoughts. But I am so happy that you were able to make it out here this year for the Spring Fling tournament. And it's my hope, as well as everybody else, that we'll be able to see you some way, shape, or form next year in forensics, NCFA. Paul, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, thanks so much for being here, everyone, and congratulations to all the award winners. And I do just want to say one last thing before we're able to close it out. Obviously, for many of you, this was your first tournament, and a ton of you found a lot of success. But for those of you who didn't find the level of success that you wanted, I hope you still had fun. At the very beginning, I sort of mentioned my first tournament ever, which is so memorable and which inspired me to continue competing. And at that tournament, I went 1-5. And then at the next tournament, I lost every single round. I went 0-6. But I had definitely found my people. I'd found an activity that was so welcoming, so important, not just in my life, but it felt like in the world. And I hope that regardless of whether you won, whether you lost, you met some people who you thought were cool, you felt invited into our community. And I truly, truly hope all of you will be returning in the fall when we go back to competition. Thanks to everyone who made this tournament possible. And I hope you all have a wonderful night. Have a good one, everyone.